My name is LaTasha Sarpy. Good afternoon. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak to support the lifting the cap on charter public schools. Please reflect on your own educational experience. How has it impacted or influenced the decisions you've made in your life? But I want to ask, would you put your child or grandchild in your local public school? Maybe you would if you lived in Brookline, Wellesley, or Melrose. But what if you live in Fall River, Dorchester, or Lawrence? My name is LaTasha Sarpy, as I already said, but I live in Dorchester and I am a professor in sociology. I am the proud parent of a third grader at Brooke Charter School. As a professor, every semester I have students who enter into my classroom after being placed in developmental math or English. These students successfully completed high school, yet they have to waste time and money in classes just to get caught up. But this isn't true for my suburban students. When the time came for Liam to go to school, I struggled with the same tough decision my mom faced 2 decades earlier. I knew that there were good public schools, but they just weren't in my neighborhood. Just because I live in a certain zip code shouldn't mean that my child doesn't get the best education possible. And while I considered Metco, I didn't want Liam to face the same struggles I did. Our family was fortunate to win the lottery to enroll Liam in Brooke Charter School. By the end of his kindergarten year, he was reading at a 2nd grade level. But most importantly, he is still in his neighborhood. But it became real to me when Liam had to read his cousin's homework problems to him when Liam was in the 1st grade. His cousin was in the 1st grade too. Or maybe it was when my son read Frederick Douglass's speech on the Boston Commons this summer, and he was in the Boston Banner. I was overwhelmed with pride, but you know what? Any Brooke scholar could have done that. You might wonder why I'm here testifying in support of lifting the cap when my son is already in a charter school. But when Liam reaches high school age, we will face a crisis. There are few charter high school seats in Massachusetts. Education does not stop in the 8th grade. So how can we disregard all of the work that our children have done and drop the ball? It's not unfair, just unfair. It's not just unfair, it's abusive. But it's not just about Liam. I am here to advocate for the families that weren't so fortunate, the young boys who are struggling with reading comprehension, the young girls who aren't being stimulated in math classes, my neighbors, family members, and friends. I am here to be a voice for those children. I heard earlier that charter schools were a compromise. Well, you know what? Education is a right, not a privilege, and not a compromise. This is not about charter versus public. It's about quality education. We hear public funds for public schools. Well, charter schools are public schools. Lifting the cap doesn't hurt those who already have good public schools, but it helps those who are the most vulnerable. We've been having the same conversation for decades. Our lawmakers have changed, our policies have changed, and yet the problem remains the same. Our education system is still struggling. We have to do better now. We know that education enhances a person's life chances. So will you take that chance? Will you give our children a chance? Please think about how education may have transformed your life. Please consider the children who need that chance. I urge you to support lifting the cap. Thank you.